Hi everyone, welcome back to Faithful You and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I have got the weaving loom out again and I thought I would start the weaving and show you how I'm going to be doing it. I've got my yarn out. Here's my yarn and I've got 3 skeins. This is the second one and the third one's on the floor. Let me just pick it up. And this is the third one. Now I've undone this one because this one's going to go on the shuttle, which is this thing here. I'll turn you around and show you what I'm doing, but I just thought that I'd just come and have a little chat with you first. The other day in my other video you saw me setting up the loom, putting all the warp threads on and winding it onto the loom ready for weaving. So in today's video I'm going to show you briefly what I'm doing with the loom, how I'm going to set it up to start weaving and actually doing a little bit of weaving. And then once I've started doing the weaving I'll do some time lapse for you and put that in the video as well, and then you can see it being done from start to finish and me taking it off the loom. So I'm going to do that today. The weather's just changed and the sun started coming out, so I want to get out in the sun for a bit, so I'll do that this evening. But yeah, I've got my yarn ready, it's all plied, you can see all the bells and things, there's locks on it as well. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to wind this onto my shuttle, work out where I want to start, getting all sorts of tangles in it, in the beads, which is a shame, because it's unravelling a little bit, but I'm sure once it's on the loom it'll be fine. So I have to tear that bit. Where are we? Because that's actually gone inside the bead. So yeah, the metal thread didn't go on very well unfortunately, but I'm sure we'll be fine. I'm sure we'll be fine. So I'm going to take some of this white thread out because this doesn't seem to have gone on very well either. So we'll just check before we start that everything's all nice and tidy. It's all nicely spun, nicely plied. And then we'll work out which is the top and which is the bottom and where we want to start. So let's have a little look at what we've got. Sun's coming out, typical. Been miserable all morning. Let's see what we've got. I did rip it, I think. Right, I think I'm going to start with this end. So let's take it all the way back again to the beginning. Where are we? Get myself in a bit of a muddle already, I haven't even started. Right. We're back at the beginning, so I'm just going to make the put the camera on the floor and then I'll show you what I'm doing. I've tried to tidy up so the place looks tidy for you, because whenever I film the place looks a right tip. We were out all day yesterday seeing my mother-in-law for her birthday, so right, so you can see me and you can see the loom, which is great. So this is our yarn and this is our shuttle. Now we're going to put this on the top of the shuttle and tie it on. And then we wrap it onto our shuttle. Now I don't want too much because I want it to be able to fit through the whole of through the shed. So we don't want too much on there. Right, if I turn you around, you might be able to see better. So all we're doing is we're just wrapping it onto the shuttle. Turn the shuttle round a bit. Looks lovely on this shuttle. Look at all that colour. Doesn't that look nice? So I think that'll do for a minute. Don't want to put too much on because I've got to thread it through. So yeah, I think I'll rip it here. Great thing with it being all natural wool, it'll tear really easily. Right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to put some waste yarn on just to separate all the threads that are actually on the loom. So pop it into the up position, and already I can see that the threads need to be spread out, so we'll just spread them out a bit. Because you want it nice and even when you come to weave with it. So if I turn you around this way, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So what we're doing is the threads here, we're just spacing them out a bit to make sure that they're all untwisted and that they've all got enough equal space on the front beam, on the bar at the front. Probably different ways of doing this, but this is just how I do it, just to make sure that we start off properly. If you watch other people do it, they may have a different way of doing things, but this is just what I do. So already I can see that we've got a twisted thread there, so this thread here is twisted, so we're just untwisting it, putting it flat, just checking them all. I'm just spreading them all out. What you don't want is to start weaving and find all your threads are twisted, and then you can't get your shuttle through properly and you end up snapping your threads and you end up in a right knot. Right, they're all nicely spaced out on this bit at the front here, and I've just got a little bit of bulky yarn here. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And this is just some hairdwick that I've spun. So I'm just going to take a bit of that. It's got a bit of mohair attached to it. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to get some of this and thread it through. You know, the weather did this to me the other day. It was miserable as anything, and as soon as I put the camera on, the sun came out. Do you know, that's a little bit too fluffy. So I've changed it now. I've decided I'm going to use this brown instead. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to thread it through. You could use little cardboard strips. They do, Ashford do send out cardboard strips, but the Kromsky didn't come with any. I'm going to do that, put my heddle in. Do you know these heddles are supposed to fit the Kromsky, but they don't. I'm going to do that a few times just to separate all the threads. It just makes it all nice and tidy, gets everything straight, and then it's a lot easier when you've finished as well, because it looks nice and tidy at the end. So pop that on. I'm going to do this about 5 to 6 times. Don't pull it too tight. You don't want your end threads coming in too tight. You take this out at the end when the weaving's finished. Once you're taking it off the loom, you take this out. So I'm all in a knot. Do you know, it's because I'm rushing to get out in the sun. Don't see it very often, so when we do, I like to get out and in. I always leave a little arc when I'm doing it, so just pull too tight. And you don't want to push it too tight either. You want yeah, you don't want to push it too tight either. You want it to be quite loose. We'll do that again. It's difficult when you're recording by yourself because you can't really see what everyone else can see. So I'm sorry if my camera angles aren't very good. Nearly done. I'm going to do all this. But it won't go to waste. You'll take it out at the end and then you can use it for something else. Right. Let's do that. Right. Oh, not keen on this Ashford heddle on a Kromsky. I don't think it quite works. Doesn't sit on properly, even though the loom's straight on the table. So any of you out there who are thinking of buying a Kromsky, don't buy the Ashford heddles. I was told they were compatible. But they're not. Had I known, I would have bought the proper ones. And sell me tin whistle, I'll invest in one. But I bought these especially for art yarn, so. Doesn't want to stay up. Incidentally, I actually think now that Ashford has brought out their knitter's loom, I actually think they're better. Because I've got the sand plate and I quite like that one. But the great thing about the Kromsky when I bought them was that they were foldable. And when you unclip the clips on the sides here, you can fold it in half when your weaving's on the loom, which is great. But now Ashford started doing that on their loom, and they've brought out the knitter's loom, and you can actually fold them in half when you want to store them away. So I think I would rather have bought one of them. Right, this is the last little bit now. So we've got a good 2 inches at the bottom where we've done our extra thread, and I'm sure that once you get more used to using the loom, then I'm sure you won't need them. So there, we're all set up now and we're all ready to start weaving. So we've got our shuttle ready. This is called a shuttle, and we're going to thread it through. This is why you don't want too much on your shuttle, because it's going to catch on the threads, and I don't want to snap my angora. I didn't think of that when I was choosing what I was going to use, which I should have done really, shouldn't I? There you go. Right, so this is our first pass. I'm going to pull them up like that, let them be seen like that, and tap that, just tap it, you don't want to hit it. And then this end here, on this end, you can poke that through, just like that, and tuck that in, just like that, and that just catches the end. Yeah, that just catches the end in. We're going to take our shuttle again, and gently I'm going to pass it through. Trying desperately not to snap my angora. I really wish I hadn't used it now. It's definitely not the right one to use. The beads and everything getting stuck. Right. This is our second pass. So anything you like the look of that you want to show, like this lock here, I'm going to pull that through a bit more. We've got a red lock here, so I'm going to pull that through and let that be seen. So I don't know whether you can see that, there's a nice little lock there, let me just zoom you in. There's a lock here which we've pulled through, and a lock here which we've pulled through. So give that a tap, like that, push it up. Right, you want to make sure that you don't pull too tightly on the sides, because what you don't want is your loom coming in like that. So just zoom you back out a bit so you can see again. I'm having to hold on to my heddle because it keeps falling over. Don't know why, but it does. Pull that through, push it over. Anything you want to be seen, like that lock, pull that over, that lock there, this lock here, pull them through, tap, and then down, drop the shuttle. Right, so I'm just going to carry on until I've got to wind it on, and then I'll show you winding it on. as you can see, I've finished the first pass on the loom, and we've got our first lot of yarn on the loom. So you can see the bits of locks that we've got here. We've got some more locks here. I've got bells here. A nice bell there. Another one there. Some beads. Let me zoom you in a bit. More locks. More beads here. So yeah, we've got plenty of texture going on. We've got some more here. More locks. Another nice red lock here. The camera's not really picking the colours up very well. It's gone quite dull now. The sun's gone in. But yeah, we're ready now to start winding the loom on. So just put you back on the tripod, and we'll have a look at that. This brown yarn will come out, and then this will be the start of our weaving. So yeah, really pleased with it so far. Loads of texture, loads of interest in it. Thankfully I haven't snapped anything yet. It's going to be a bit of a nightmare because the heddle doesn't fit the loom like it's supposed to. But there we go. And I'm terrified of snagging the yarn. But anyway, we're going to wind it on now. So we're on the top here, on the top part of the beam here, and we want to be in the middle here. Let me just turn you down a bit. There we are. Okay, so I'm going to take the heddle out and pop it in the middle like that. So that's what's called the neutral position there. And then we've got our winders on the side, one there. Just turn you around a bit better, be able to see what I'm doing. We've got a winder on the top there, and a winder on the bottom over here. On the bottom here. So we want to loosen the top one, and we want to wind it on the bottom. As you can see, all the threads now are all nicely spaced out. Now we've started, they're all nicely spaced out. So you don't want to do it too far, but enough so you can get your shuttle through. I think that's it. So pop the little catch back on the back. That's locked in position, and then give it an extra bit of a tighten, not too much. And the same on the back. There we are. And we're ready to go again. Right, sorry it's gone a bit dark, but the sun's gone in. Typical, I'm finished now and I'm ready to go outside and the sun's gone in. Anyway, we've done our first bit of the weaving. Really pleased with it. It's going to look beautiful when it's finished. I'm not sure it's going to be a scarf. It may have to be a wall hanging, but we'll see how we get on once it's done. I've not woven it on this loom and done an art yarn scarf before. I've usually used my small 10-inch loom, and this is twice the amount of weaving width-wise as what's on the Samplete loom, the little 10-inch one by Ashford. But I think it's going to be alright, but it may be a bit heavy for a shawl, but we'll have to see how much yarn we can get onto the loom. I'm going to use it all. I've started spinning the last one, and I'm going to put that for sale in my shop, as I said. So I'm halfway through that. I'll try and get that finished this week, and yeah, we'll get this finished. So I'm going to carry on with this later on. I have to go do it this evening. I'll put the camera on, show you what it's looking like, and I'll do a bit of time lapse for you, and you can have a look and see how it's turning out. So yeah, anyway, that's it from me for now. I'm going to go. I'm going to try and get the last 2 parts done of the drum carding series today as well, or this week. It won't be today, but it'll be this week, so that'll be next week and the week after. So I'll do the weaving for tomorrow's podcast, for this podcast, and then hopefully have it finished for Saturday, and show you it all done on Saturday. So for my knitting podcast. So yeah, we'll be back with an ordinary knitting podcast on Saturday, and probably coming from the shed or my workroom, depends on the weather. And I'll put the fire on and we'll sit and have a natter in there. So yeah, anyway, I hopefully have this finished for you, and I'll be able to show you it on Saturday, and we can get this boxed off, and I can get it in my shop. And then one of you lovely viewers, if you want it, you can have it in your home, take it home with you. So anyway, thank you very much for joining me today. Sorry it's been a bit waffly, but I wasn't sure I was going to do a podcast today. We had 5 hours in the car yesterday, nearly 6 hours in the car, driving to see my mother-in-law. And I'm feeling very tired today, so excuse me if I'm looking all puffy and all tired, but that's why. Anyway, I'm going to go now. I'm going to go in the garden, go and get some gardening done, and I will see you at the weekend for a knitting podcast. Videos, please do like and subscribe. Please do give me a thumbs up and hit the notification bell, because YouTube does seem to like it when you do that. So, and also leave comments in the comment section below. I always love talking to everybody. And I always love seeing what everyone's up to. So yeah, also don't forget the hashtag on my Instagram page. Faithful You Podcast it is. So if you do want to use my hashtag, it's the Faithful You Podcast. And show me what you're making. Put some pictures on there and show me what you're up to. We can all have a little look at what you're doing as well. So yeah, I'll put a picture of my weaving up for you and let you have a little look at that. And I'll see you at the weekend. So take care, enjoy the rest of your week. And I will see you on Saturday. So bye for now. Bye bye.